Hi, everybody. My name is Jill Pomerantz. I am your National Geographic Learning Consultant, and today I'm here to teach you about Standouts curriculum and how to use it to best teach your students how to learn to speak English. Well, not just speak, but learn English in all aspects. So I'm going to share my screen. So just give me a second to connect to my PowerPoint. Okay. So welcome. Let me start out by telling you about Standouts levels. We have 6 levels, starting with basic and moving all the way up to the advanced level, level 5, and Standout 5. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is talk to you about how easy Standout is to use, because we have so many resources for you, and we make it easy to teach. So one of the first things we're going to look at is the student book, and I'm going to show you how that's laid out so that it's beneficial for the student. It gives students increments of the language that is doable for them. It gives them goals. We'll talk about that in just a second. And then we're going to look at the lesson planner and how it's going to teach you how to teach your students. It's a very useful tool, and I think you guys will like it, and you'll definitely want to keep that by your side when you are teaching to your students. We're going to take a really quick look at the workbook, and then we will take a look at the classroom presentation tool. And the classroom presentation tool, if you can see it, is a flash drive. So it comes in this package like this, and like I said, it's a flash drive that you plug into your computer, and you can download it directly into your computer. I'll show you what that looks like and how you can use it either in person with your students, or if you're teaching online, it's the perfect tool to use. So either way, I'll show you what that looks like and how to use it. And lastly, we're going to look at the companion site, and that is located on our website. I will show you how to get to the website and show you what the login credentials are for teachers. Students do not require a password, so I will show you how to get your students there as well. Okay, and I'll show you what's there. Lots of great resources on the companion site, and that's about it. So those are all the things we're going to cover. It's lots of stuff, lots of really good stuff, and you're going to love the Standout curriculum. It's probably, I'm not going to say probably, it is the best out there in terms of teaching students how to speak English and helping teachers teach students. So let's get started. Okay, first we're going to look at the at the student book. We are going to use Standout Basic as the reference. But each level, levels 1 through 5, follow the exact format, okay? So even though I'm going to be talking about the basic book, it applies to all levels. They all work on the same idea, okay? So let's look into Standout Basic. So you will notice that every unit, there are 8 units in each book. Each unit begins with a beautiful National Geographic photo. The photos are of authentic people and authentic places, and it gives you the opportunity to help students identify what they know about the topic at hand. So this topic is called Let's Go Shopping. So in these unit openers with these photos, you can use it as a warm-up, basically. You'll see that there are different types. So here we have lifelong learning and review. and this one's about personal finance. But what I want you to do is take a look at this bottom left or bottom right corner. It shows here unit outcomes. This is what the students will need to complete by the end of that unit. It is broken down into doable goals, which we will look at in here just a second. And we also have here in the unit openers these questions that will help you as the teacher assess what the students know about the topic. Okay, that's why it's called a unit warm-up. It's for you to take a moment with your student or students, find out what they know about personal finance in this example, and what vocabulary do they have, what grammar do they have, and then you have some questions, like I said here, that will help you draw those questions out of your, or those answers out of your students. Okay, so that's the purpose of the unit openers. And then we go on into the lesson. So we have lesson 1. Like I said, there are 5 lessons per unit, okay? So every lesson starts out with a goal. Right here you can see goal, and it says identify types of clothing. In every lesson, students are given doable goals. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to identify types of clothing. Okay? In this lesson, students in lesson 2, the same unit, students will have a goal of, ask for and give directions in a store. Okay, so they will be able to do that by the end of the lesson. In lesson 3, students will be able to describe clothing. Lesson 4, they will be able to make purchases using money, okay? Talking about money. And lastly, students will be able to read advertisements. So all of these are doable goals for the unit. So by the end of the unit, they will be given a review of all 5 lessons, and they will be able to assess whether or not they are able to accomplish each of these goals. You can assess them through examination, through speaking, or through a project that we are given, you are given as well at the end of the unit, okay? So what else are students learning in the student book? Obviously, they are going to learn the 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So each lesson covers these skills. In this one, students will, this is lesson 1, students will listen to the conversation and read. So they're accomplishing 2 different skills here. They're practicing two different skills. And in this one, they're going to listen and point and write as well. You'll see down here in lesson B, it says classify. Look at the pictures and write the clothes. Remember, this is basic, so students are given doable tasks, right, for their level. In this lesson, students will speak. Here they have to look at the picture and discuss what it is that Yusuf is doing, okay? And there's also the opportunity in activity B to listen and read. And in this exercise, the student will again read and listen. And lastly, students are given the opportunity to write. In activity B, they will write, and in activity C, they will speak. Okay, so students are given ample opportunities to practice all 4 skills in the lessons. One more item that students will be practicing are the critical thinking skills. You're probably wondering, why do my students need to learn critical thinking skills? So critical thinking skills help students to think clearly and systematically. So that's going to help them improve the way they express their ideas, and it teaches them how to analyze the structure of texts, and it improves comprehension abilities. So these are the reasons why we teach critical thinking skills, especially in language. It's really going to help them develop those skills that they need in order to apply the language that they're learning. So we give them these opportunities. You'll notice that that critical thinking skills is always written in red. You'll see here, this is a critical thinking skill, relate. Remember, this is basic level, so they're going to learn the basic critical thinking skills. It gets more difficult as they move up in levels. I don't know why that's that. It's not working at the moment for some reason. Yeah, so we have here. Identify is another one you see here, identify. We have infer, and we have classify. So these are the different critical thinking skills that the basics level student will be learning, okay? And if you're not sure about how to teach critical thinking skills, no worries. The lesson planner will give you tips on how to teach critical thinking skills. Lots of great best practices in the lesson planner, and I will show you what that looks like. So this is what the lesson planner looks like. It's pretty thick because it has on one side, which I will show you in a second here. Yeah, well, I'll show you in a second what that looks like. It will have the student book pages on one side and the lesson plan on the other side. So you have both the student book and the lesson planner in one, and that's why you're going to see that it's a little heavy, but it's a great tool, and you're going to want to carry it with you everywhere you go. So the clothing lesson you see here is in the lesson planner, has everything about the unit here for you. You'll see that it has that 2-page spread that the student book has, but it's giving the teacher more information. It's giving the teacher here information about the photo, and that way you'll be able to tell your students what it is they're looking at, especially if they have questions about what they're looking at. You'll be able to tell them what that is right here, is that information, okay? You can also have, there's some learning best practices here for students, for you as a teacher to teach to your students. And also all the information you need about the unit is here. So you will have your unit outcomes, the 5 lessons, the goals, the doable goals are here. You have the grammar that you will need to teach them in order to achieve those outcomes. There are grammar that is specific to the goal that the student has to learn, okay? Then there's the vocabulary that the student needs in order to achieve these goals. And there are EL Civics topics in here as well, workplace links, and we also have all of the standards that students may or may not have to achieve depending on the program that you are using, okay? So that's what the 2-page spread, beautiful photographs look like in the lesson planner. Lots of information for you. So the lesson planner uses what's called the WIPEA method. Not that you need to know this, but I want you to see what the structure of the lessons are every day. So remember, there are 5 lessons in each unit, and each lesson is set up exactly the same way in every book. You have the warm-up, you have the introduction, the presentation, the practice, evaluation, and application. So like I said, the warm-up you will see used with that 2-page spread of those beautiful photographs, National Geographic photographs, and then an introduction where the teacher will introduce the topic and the goals. So this is the opportunity for the teacher to let the students know what's expected of them. The presentation may occur more than one time because you're going to be presenting grammar, presenting vocabulary, but that's the teacher's opportunity to speak. Okay, that's when the teacher will explain grammar rules or vocabulary. The practice is the opportunity for students to speak, listen, read, and write. And then comes the evaluation where the student takes a test or does some independent work that shows the teacher that he understands what he is doing. Application is where the student actually does something that proves that he is able to do what was set out to do in the beginning with the goal, the doable goal. The application means doing it, performing it, okay? Without the book or cheat sheets, right? So that's what application means. So this is what it looks like in the teacher book. Over here, you'll see we have this at-a-glance prep. We're going to look at that in just a minute, but here we are going to do, or the lesson plan is created for you, so you don't have anything to do except follow the instructions. Take the book beforehand. Probably you want to look at it beforehand to see what you're going to need for the day. Read over what is expected of the teacher to do in order for the students to achieve their goals. Here's the warm-up and review. Here's the introduction. So we have the W and the WIPEA, the I, the introduction, the presentation. This is the first presentation. So we have WIP, and here we have the practice. Students will practice. And then we have the evaluation. So we have the WIPPE, and now we just need the A. And here we have, again, we have another presentation. Okay, remember, sometimes we have more than one presentation, then we have more than one practice, another evaluation to make sure students are understanding what you presented, and then we have that application right here. And it shows you as the teacher if your students are able to perform what you've taught them, okay? Again, we have great teacher notes here for you, presenting dialogues. I'm going to talk about this in a minute, the multi-level worksheets. And again, here's that tip for teaching critical thinking skills. Let's see if we can do that. If you are not sure how to teach classification, for example, we have some tips for you as a teacher so you know what to do, okay? So remember I said we were going to look at that at-a-glance prep. This is at the beginning of every lesson, okay? Remember, there are 5 lessons in each unit. So at the beginning of a lesson, it's exactly what this says. It's at-a-glance prep. What do I need to prepare for? What do I need in order to be prepared for a class? First of all, it gives you all the information that you need for that lesson. What's the goal that the student has to achieve? What grammar are they going to need in order to achieve that goal? What's the academic strategy that students are going to be practicing? And what vocabulary do students need in order to achieve that goal? Okay, that's all the information you need for that day that you're going to be teaching your student. This is what you want to share with your students. You're going to tell them, this is our agenda today. This is what we're going to do and what we're going to accomplish. We're going to identify types of clothing. We're going to talk about a clothing store. We're going to describe what people are wearing, and we're going to write the items of clothing in your closet, okay? Then important for you is resources. What resources are you going to use that day? And what do you have to have with you as you go to teach your student? The resources for this lesson is the multi-level worksheet, which I'm going to show you how to, oops, I forgot to do that, how to, I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, I'm going to show you where that multi-level worksheet is and how to get to that. Okay, it's in the teacher companion site here. And then we have the audio and video. So here it says you need the audio CD, which you don't need the CD. I'll explain where that is. Audio and video are found on the teacher companion site, same place where the multi-level worksheets are. That's one of the things we're going to look at today. It's also on this classroom presentation tool that I was talking about. Okay, it's on here, the audio and video. And it's also on a CD and DVD if you have the capability of playing a CD, DVD. Many times recently, computers no longer have that drive, so they many people can't use a CD and DVD, but it is available if you need it. Other resources available over here is the Hindley Picture Dictionary. You may not have that, and that's okay. You do not need it. It's just an extra resource. And then the Standout Assessment CD-ROM, it is actually on the companion site. I will show you where that is. Those are assessments that you are going to give your students. And then you'll see here, each lesson takes approximately 3 hours to complete. But if you're doing a one-on-one class with students, it's definitely not going to take you 3 hours. It'll be much quicker. But if you are short on time, you will notice in the lessons, in the lesson planner, there are red, green, and blue boxes. And those are to help you pace yourself. So you'll be able to if you only have an hour and a half, you'll only be able to do the red boxes. That will allow you to do the class in 1.5 hours. If you have enough time to do all the exercises, that would require 3 hours. But honestly, I think if you are working one-on-one with students, then you're going to have enough time to do all of the practices that are in the lesson, okay? So let's move on to this is the scope and sequence, or the table of contents. And the reason I wanted to show you this is because I wanted you to see that every unit is set up exactly the same way, whether it's a basic book or a book 5. Okay, so we have unit 3, unit 4, that's the unit that we've been looking at. And just so you can look at this a little bit more closely, in unit 4, here again, we have our 5 goals, right, for each lesson. Then we have the grammar that we are going to be teaching throughout that whole unit, throughout all 5 lessons. This is the grammar that will be taught. This is the vocabulary that will be taught, and the pronunciation, okay? So these are all of the things that you will be concentrating on with that student for probably a week, okay? Again, here is the pacing guide. Remember I was telling you about the 3 square colors, the red, the blue, and the green. You can also follow the pacing guide. So right here you have the day. This is day 28, assuming that you started on unit 1 on day 1. You will be starting unit 4 on day 28. On day 28, you'll do lesson 1. This is the goal, identify types of clothing. Lesson 1, page 60, and lesson 1, what's on sale. Okay, so you will complete unit 1, all 5 lessons in 5 days. There are the life skill videos, which I would recommend that you show your students as well. That would require another day of teaching. And if you have more than 1 student, then I would advise to do the team project. It really shows how students are utilizing what they learned in a practice. Okay, and of course we have an extra reading challenge and video challenge too. So that's all for a unit. And the pacing guide, I'm going to show you where that's at so you can refer to it in a minute, okay? So let's look at the workbook real quick. It's pretty easy to understand how the workbook is laid out, but just so you will know, the workbook is set up so that there are 3 pages of exercises for each lesson. Remember, there are 5 lessons in each unit, so that means there are 15 pages for each unit. Okay, so there's lots of extra exercises for students to do, lots of practice for students. This is what it will look like. So you have lots of extra exercises similar to what they've done in the book, but different. So make sure you do go over with your students the directions, especially at this basic level. They're going to need help trying to decipher what the instructions mean. So you will want to go over that with your students before actually assigning the workbook, okay? But that's what that looks like. So it's 3 pages and pretty self-explanatory. All right, we're going to look at the classroom presentation tool now. So I'm going to stop sharing and reshare the classroom presentation tool and show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like once you've downloaded. Again, it's this flash drive. You're going to download it into your computer, and once that's downloaded, this is what it will look like. Okay, so I just extended that. All right, so we were looking at Unit 4, right, for the clothing unit. So let's just take a look at that. So you're going to see that we have our lessons here, which we're going to get into in just a second. We have the video challenge here. So this is where you're going to watch videos with your students. And there are some workbook pages that have the answer key, okay? I'll show you that real quick. All right, and this is what the student workbook looks like here. So you can go over this with your student. Remember, you can use this in person with your student. So you can go over answers. We'll see what the advantages of that is in a minute, but it's really going to be useful for you if you are teaching online with your student. If you are not able to meet in person with your student, then this will be the perfect way to teach. All right, so let's go back to the units, the lesson. So we have the unit opener. We'll look at that real quick. That's what it looks like. Again, it's the student book that you are projecting on your screen. Okay, so everything that the student book has is here. Turn the pages is here. So here I have the student pages, right? But maybe if I am showing this to my student, I only want to show a single page. I can change that here. Now, what's nice about this is I can show or put on the audio here. So I just click on this icon with the music note.
Pants, sweaters, t-shirts, coats.
And that's what the audio, it's awesome. You just click from here, the audio, and it plays automatically for students. We also have here a tip for you as a teacher. What's the best practice for teaching this listening exercise? That's what these are here for you, not for the student. So you can take a look at that before you actually start teaching, okay? Now, if you feel like this is not, it's too far away, you can zoom in on that by going over here to the plus sign and just zooming in, okay? There we go. And then you can make sure your students can see that. There's also another way you can do that, and that's down here. You see this right here. It says Zoom to region. I'm going to click on that, and I just want my students to look at lesson C, nothing else. So now it's zoomed high enough, and I can have a conversation with my students, or a conversation. I can have my students write their sentences, and then we can discuss them here. This is not a good example, actually, of using the Zoom. You might want to use the Zoom on, let's see, on the next page. Maybe there's a better example. Yeah, here. Okay, so listen and write the numbers of the conversation. So you can actually have the audio going and then have students answer for, or the student answer for you. Another thing that is nice to have is the window shade. And all that's going to do is block anything you do not want students to see. You don't want them to look ahead or look at something else while you're teaching. So you're going to cover up what you do not want them to see, and then just click set. And then they can no longer see that, okay? And then just get out of that. Every time you click on one of these windows, you want to, and you need to stop using that, you'll have to click back on the pointer like that, okay? So basically, these are everything that you can use. You're able to write, you're able to highlight, you're able to zoom and to hide. And again, you can double click or have double page or single page as your view. All right, so remember that these icons are interactive. You can just click on them. This is answer key. This will show you the answers. So you can do one answer at a time or show all at the same time, okay? So that's the classroom presentation tool. Pretty simple. Initially, all you're going to have to do is just stick it into the USB drive in your computer. You don't have to download it, but it is downloadable on your computer, or you can just use the USB without downloading. It's up to you. One more thing too about the presentation tools, it does have a timer or a stopwatch. So you can go backwards in time or forwards in time. So if you want to tell students they have 5 minutes, then you can set a stopwatch. Or if you just want to see how long it takes something, how long it takes an exercise for a student to complete an exercise, you can set a timer. Like how long will it take a student to read this passage? You can set the timer just by clicking on start, okay? All right, so basically that's all there is for the student classroom presentation tool, or for the teacher classroom presentation tool. If you have any questions, you can always talk to your director, or you can email me, okay? And I'll share that information in a minute. All right, so I'm going to stop share on that. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Okay. Just 1 second, sorry. Now we are going to take a look at the teacher resource site. So the teacher resource site is on our website, eltngl.com, and it has extra resources for you to use. So you're going to find worksheets there, you're going to find audio and video there. and lots of other stuff. So I'm going to show you how to get there. But here you want to write this down, and the user ID is Standout and the password is teacher. Okay, so we're just going to go to eltngl.com. Hopefully you can see that, but you know what, just in case you cannot see that, I am going to stop sharing and I am going to start a new share just to make sure that you are able to see that web page. So this is the National Geographic Learning web page. What you're going to do when you get here, well, it's already here at the Standout web page. So when you click on eltngl.com, let's do that. So when you input eltngl.com, it's actually going to take you to our home page, okay? What I want you to do is go to the search products, type in Standout in the search products. Let me make sure you got that. So we're going to go to search products, type in Standout, and then you're taken to this page. So just click on this box that says Standout, okay? And now you're at the website for Standout. So you want the companion site. So we're going to click on this hamburger menu, and you'll see here, companion site. Click on that, and you'll see it's just further on down the page. So you could just scroll down to get here. There is the student companion site, like I said. You're going to click on the student companion site, or the students, you're going to show the students how to get here. Students are going to click on their level. It takes a minute sometimes, it's just thinking. And students have available to them the audio, the video. Again, it takes a second, so it's always thinking. And here are the different units. So there's this click on their unit, select a video clip, and they can play from here. Okay, so this is what the videos look like. Hopefully you guys can hear that, but I'll let you practice moving around the website so you can see for yourself how to play the video and audio. The documents that students have available to them are the audio and video, or the audio and video scripts, okay? Now, there is this tab here called the online workbook, but students do not have access to the online workbook. So when they get there and they're confused about what to do, just tell them that it's a purchasable item and that it wasn't purchased, or they don't have it. So ignore that tab, okay? All right, so let's go back to the teacher companion site. Right here is the teacher, right above the student. Okay, so the teacher's going to do the exact same thing. I'm logged in, so I want to log back in. So I'm going to click on my level. We're looking at the basic level. And here it's asking for the login information. Remember, you're going to type in Standout, but it's going to be, remember, no caps, one word. And the password is teacher. And we're going to log in. Okay, so this is what's available to the teacher here. We have the teacher's lesson planner here. You will have a hard copy of that, so you don't necessarily have to come here and download that. But that's what that is, the teacher's book. Of course, we have the audio and video here. We have audio, video, just like the students, exactly the same thing. But now with documents, we have more than the student does because we are the instructor, right? Lots of great resources here. So again, we have the audio scripts as well. But another nice thing that we have here for you is the life skills video teacher notes. So those videos, if you're not sure how to teach them, we have teacher notes here for you that will help you teach videos to your student. Here's where that pacing guide is. Remember I told you that you could follow what you should do on a daily basis. You can get that pacing guide here. Video scripts are here. The workbook answer key is also here. And you can also take webinars from the authors. Rob Jenkins and Stacy Johnson are the authors of Standout, and they have given some great webinars. If you're interested in learning more about Standout and how to teach with Standout, you can watch the webinars from here. Okay. The next tab is the assessment tab. Here is where you will find the tests. So we have the ExamView Test Center. I think the easiest thing you will find here is the ready to go tests and answer keys. All you have to do is print them. That's it. You also have this ExamView Assessment Suite, which means that you can create your own tests if you would like by downloading this ExamView Assessment Suite onto your computer and create the test yourself. These ready-to-go tests were actually created from these tests that you can create yourself. But they're here ready to go for you, so you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But you only need to download it once. Once it's downloaded and you're teaching, say, from another level, like a book 1, then you would go to the test bank and download the test bank. So here you installed Standout Basic, and then you had that installed in your computer already. So from here, or from the student book 1, you would download the test bank, okay? You would not reinstall again. Just get the questions for the level 1 from the test bank, okay? I hope that makes sense, but again, you can email me if you decide to go this way, this route, okay? So the fun stuff, the activity bank, this is where you're going to find the multi-level worksheets that I was telling you about. So here are the multi-level worksheets. So say you're teaching a level 1 and your student is struggling with book 1. You could give the student that is struggling the worksheet that is below level. So you will see here, let's see if we can, yeah. So you can see that there are 3 different levels for this lesson. So we're looking at Unit 1, Lesson 1. There are 3 worksheets for Lesson 1. So if my student is performing below level, I'm going to give him worksheet A. If my student is working at level, I will give him worksheet B. If your student is just a little bit higher than the level he's working in, you can give him worksheet C, okay? This is also meant for students to work together. So you will find lots of collaborating worksheets where students will have to work with a partner. You can still assign different level worksheets with students that are working together. It's meant to work that way. But I'm not sure if you're going to have students that are, if you are going to have more than 1 student in your classroom. But if you are, then I would take advantage of these worksheets and giving them appropriately to the students, okay? So that's what the multi-level worksheets are. Another thing you'll see here are computer activity worksheets. If you have time and students want to learn computer skills, that's what these computer activities are. It is teaching students how to create an Excel spreadsheet, how to create tables in Word. That's what these computer activities are, okay? Internet activities are great, and I would suggest opening these up, assigning them to your students, getting them on the internet in English to find out information. These are great activities that you should assign. Take a look at them when you have a moment and you'll see what I mean. They're fun. And then of course you have these literacy worksheets for these low-level students. So students, especially from countries that have a different alphabet, students maybe from Korea or from Saudi Arabia, students that have to learn how to write in English, these literacy worksheets will teach them how to write letters and numbers correctly, how to write in a straight line from left to right, and it also teaches paragraph formatting as you go higher up in your levels. So there's lots of really good practice here in the literacy worksheets. Another thing that's great are these templates. The templates show you or give you as the teacher these great empty templates. So you can have a bar graph, you can have a bingo card, an empty calendar, right, grid. You have the Venn diagram, you have column charts, pie charts, how to write a paragraph. All of these are great, a graph paper, all kinds of stuff. So you don't have to go searching for them, they're all here for you. So we have some great teacher resources, as you can see. They're all here at the Teacher Companion site. And also, if you're interested, we have the skill correlation charts. So that's if you are worried about standards. If your students need to achieve standards for the state, then that's where you're going to find the correlation charts here, okay? And that's it for the companion site. Go through there, open everything up, find out what you can use with your students. You guys will really like that. So let me stop sharing that, and we're almost done here. I'm going to share again the PowerPoint. Okay. So the next, this is what the multi-level worksheet looks like. This is an example of one of them. This is actually from a level 1. And here, this is about reading. So the student, and this is at level, by the way, for the student. But for you to be able to see the other levels, you'll have to go in and open those up, okay, when you have a moment. But this is what it looks like. All right, so today we covered lots of stuff. We covered the student book, the lesson planner, the workbook, classroom presentation tool, and the companion site. These are all the resources that are available to you. So to make teaching easier for you and for students to learn. We want them to become fluent in English. We want to help them be able to have a conversation in English when they go out in the world, right? Such a great feeling when our students reach that goal. So the standout curriculum is going to help you do that. And if you guys have any questions or need anything, again, my name is Jill Pomerantz, and my email is here, jill.pomerantz@cengage.com. So thank you all very much for listening to me. Hopefully you've learned something. And again, like I said, if you need anything, let me know. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.